We are live. Hello! Welcome to Ian and Kyle Play versus System Incorrectly. Or Fix the Chat.com. Or lately...
Mangle the English language.
Mangle the English language, yes, that's certainly a thing. I said it mostly right.
You said it mostly right. If you're going to say one thing wrong, it's probably that.
Or lately, Ian complains about Dungeons and Dragons.
Lol.
So, sorry we're a little late tonight. We were running a little late, and then on top of that, I got a surprise Windows update, which delayed us a few minutes. And
that sure is true.
It seemed to do something, cleared a bunch of settings that we were utilizing for our stream setup, so that took a couple minutes. But here we are. We're only like 10 minutes late. Nobody's in our chat yet that I can see, but Chris said he would be joining us tonight.
That's true.
And I just remembered before we started streaming that I said I was going to bring up that letter, that Steven Universe letter, which is in my trunk. I didn't think to bring it up, but it's in my trunk.
It's in your trunk, totally.
I'll bring it up at any time and show it to our viewers, and we'll probably have forgotten by next week. What other announcements can we go through? I got most, but not all of, the backlog of streams up on YouTube. I don't have last week's, which was 2 weeks ago, last streams, up on YouTube, but everything before that is up. So we're close to caught up, closer than we've been in a long time, closer than we usually are. So that's good.
Within our glorious reach.
Chris is here, but Hot Sing.
Good old Hots. I should get back into Hots one of these days. When I'm done with 50 other games I need to play.
I'm sure I had tons of interesting stuff to talk about in those individual streams, but it was a long time ago, and I don't remember any of it.
That's fair. It's quite fair.
What else is going on video game-wise? You're not playing anything.
Yeah, not really. I've had some distraction. I'm going to show two things here. Okay. We got to show this one first for novelty's sake. I think I showed this. You said I might have shown this last stream, but this is my old...
I don't think you showed it on stream.
Maybe I had it on. This is good old Kratos. This is classic Kratos, as I like to think of him, the Kratos of days of yore. And then we have here the latest and greatest bearded Kratos, who's not only taller than the previous Kratos, but comes with a young child. Here is the young child. I don't know how well that shows up. This is a really cool, heavy-duty thing that comes with the new God of War Collector's Edition. I haven't played the game yet. I've looked at it. I've enjoyed looking at it. It comes with a map. It comes with a map, Ian. It might even be a cloth map, or
but you don't know.
I'm not 100%. It's a thing that isn't paper, but I'm not convinced it's cloth either. It might be like
all things that aren't paper are cloth.
Not all things that aren't paper are cloth. Yes. So it's not a paper map, is the way I'll describe it. I'm not sure if it's cloth, but it's pretty cool.
Is it steel?
I'm going to rule steel out.
Is it some kind of liquid?
It's a thin, flexible thing that could be cloth.
Is it edible? All right, I'm done.
I haven't tried that yet. But anyway, this is a really cool statue for the overpriced but cool God of War Collector's Edition, which is probably more expensive because I got it a little late in the fact. But one thing I'll simply comment on for God of War, I watched a pretty fantastic short video where the creative director of the studio, and I mentioned this to you briefly before, Ian, but the creative director of the studio reacted to the Metacritic scores. So he hadn't looked at any scores.
I saw some articles about it, though.
Yeah, he hadn't looked at any scores, and so he flipped on his webcam, and it's like, I'm going to look at the scores, and you can view my reaction right on stream. I'm really nervous, and he went on and on, and he views the scores and just has a wonderful, genuine, emotional reaction. This director of the game, the creative director, Cory Barlog, also was a creative director of God of War 2, which was, I think, by far the best in the franchise. I thought it was way better than 1, way better than 3, and it was probably better than the ones I didn't play.
Well, I'm gonna be cynical, grouchy old game developer Ian right now.
Yeah.
There's no way God of War was going to have bad Metacritic reviews.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's true.
I mean, you probably have like a plus or minus 5% window.
5%, yeah. That's true. This God of War, as you might be aware, is pretty exceptional even by blockbuster standards. It's clocked in at a 94 on Metacritic with well over 80 reviews.
Uh-oh, our camera just flashed. Everything okay?
Still see
Seems
my
like.
hands
Are we plugged in? Yeah. I wonder what that was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just a little extra excitement.
Yeah, a little extra time. But yeah, it got like a 94. There was a period where it was fluctuating at 95. Which, and I grant that you're right. You know, you have games that are in that certain tier of blockbuster status, and it's almost like critics are afraid to give bad reviews. But every now and then you still see that happen, and at the very least, this all seemed to be pretty genuine praise. And I loved I've always liked the God of War series quite a bit. It's not for everyone. It's definitely a cinematic brawler, but God of War 2 is particularly exceptional with its cinematic boss encounters and just fulfilling that absurdist power fantasy of just having this exciting sort of vicious character. And I'm going to be interested to see where they go with it.
Well, I've heard good things.
Yeah.
I mean, it has grown beyond, from what I understand of the fourth game,
Yeah.
it has grown beyond its roots as a brawler and sort of the formula that's been established by God of War. It's grown into the AAA game, like literally every game is like what it's doing now.
Right.
But I was intrigued. It was
That
one I was
sounded
actually
weird.
considering maybe trying at some point.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of gaming time though.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about. I really wish we were supposed to stream last week,
Yeah.
and we didn't get to.
Yeah,
Excuse
you
me.
were under the weather, and I was busy dealing with other stuff, so it was a mutual sort of need of cancellation.
Yeah, but I was extraordinarily excited about this upcoming game, Swords of Ditto.
Yeah.
And I wish we had streamed that week because it would have been the week I was excited about Swords of Ditto, because at the time I had only just started playing it, and
Yeah.
it does some things really tremendously well, and I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
And it does some things really tremendously poorly, so I've actually
a shame.
already stopped playing.
Wow,
I stopped
I'm
playing,
actually a little surprised.
I stopped playing almost a week ago. I stopped playing...
I think
about a week ago.
you told me you were unsatisfied. I don't recall if you had stopped playing when you last mentioned it. Maybe you had.
Yeah.
What did they screw up? What was the failing?
Well, so Swords of Ditto is a rogue-like Zelda-style game with tremendously well-done 2D art aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's a gorgeous game from like a hand-drawn
right.
like almost like a people say like Steven Universe or I don't think
high
that's
praise,
I don't think that's a good comparison, but like what's the other one they always compare
Is it like
to?
3D Game Heroes, or is it actually legit 2D art?
It's legit. It's like all hand drawn.
Okay.
Crap, I can't think of the other thing they compare it to, but it would make it really clear what it
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
like.
So that other
But
thing.
it's lovingly crafted. It's almost like a Scott Pilgrim-y kind of.
Oh, interesting. Okay. It's an element of
and it's not
beyond just
pixel art
2D,
though. It's like
cartoonish.
you know,
Yeah.
pen drawn and inked.
Yeah.
And it looks like a comic or whatever. And gorgeous, like nailed that out of the park.
Right.
That's not the right way to say that. Hit
Nope.
it out of the park.
Yep,
Nailed
yep.
it.
Yeah,
Both of those things.
You could nail it into the park, but not out of the park.
You can nail something in the park.
Well, then it wouldn't go anywhere. It'd just be in the park.
Get in trouble for that.
Maybe.
And the other thing is
Depends on what you nailed.
their audio design was fantastic.
Did it
And
have the kazoo?
It has a lot of kazoo.
It has a lot
I
of kazoo.
love the amount of kazoo in this game.
How could this game
Literally
fail you?
everything about this game's presentation is very joyful.
Yeah,
And
I like joy. I enjoy joy.
The gameplay is good but mixed. And it does a couple of things wrong. One of those things is when you have a roguelike, it really succeeds or fails on how quickly you get right back into it. Because a really successful roguelike, you'll
go
play
again.
and something will go wrong and you'll be like, oh crap, I screwed up. But it felt like I was on the verge of success,
Right.
and that sort of drives you to jump right back in.
Right.
And Swords of Ditto has kind of a lengthy introduction sequence that you have to play through every time you play as a new character.
Oh.
And it's not like obnoxious, but it is like maybe 2 or 3 minutes that you have to go through where you're not
That's
actually
a
playing
long
the game.
time.
And it really works to its detriment, and it's really unfortunate.
That's a really big mistake. That's real bad.
Yeah,
2 to
well,
3
it's
minutes.
one of several big
Yeah,
mistakes.
yeah.
I mean, it's not just that. And again, like, I feel very mixed about this game because the things it does well, it does so well.
So well.
But I think overall I have to give it about a 7. And,
Right.
And like, I want people to check it out. I want to say like, go check this game out. Like,
Right.
I played it for maybe 20 hours and I really enjoyed those 20 hours. But it's
It
not
just
a
ground you
keeper.
down. Yeah.
The other 2 things it does wrong is it's a little over tutorialized in the beginning, like a Zelda game is. Like, it takes you a while to get into it and explain everything over and over, and like every time you open a chest, it's like, oh, this is this item and this is what it does, and that's kind of annoying. So
Yeah.
it kind of gets in its own way there. And yet there's big swaths of the game mechanics that I don't understand and are never explained to you.
That's so strange when they
Which is
over-tutorialize
like,
some
yeah,
sections
yeah,
and then
it's
completely
really
unexplain-
uneven.
Yeah.
For example, there's a blacksmith late in the game, and I think that the blacksmith lets you permanently upgrade your weapon, like from run to run.
Oh.
But I don't know, because the blacksmith's like, hey, if you want to use me, you need to bring me 4 things. And I'm like, what are they? He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, all right, fantastic. Cool.
Huh. Well, that's something.
And there's like progressive things that's like, oh, if I collect 5 of this object and put it on this pedestal, something really spectacular is going to happen.
Right.
But I've only ever seen 4 of them in a run, and it's very strange in those ways.
Huh.
There's like a Stonehenge thing that I know is important, and it's like, I don't know how to interact with this in any way.
That's frustrating. It's funny because there's definitely a juggling act. I mean, when you look at, we often reference the Souls franchise and its, related games like Bloodborne or what have you. And there are a lot of games that have, like, disparate pieces that don't provide clear guidance, and that can feel good when you piece things together like so many umbilical cord fragments. But
Ha.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, I appreciate your ha there. But the flip side of that is, especially in a roguelike
Toasty
setting.
here.
Yeah, we can adjust that momentarily. But the flip side of that is just that, especially in a roguelike setting, when you introduce arcane elements like that, it can potentially be frustrating. You don't know, like, did you miss the 5th thing? Did it not randomly spawn? There's a lot of questions.
Chris, the first thing that was annoying was there's a several minute, not many, like maybe 2 or 3 minute long intro sequence that you have to play through every time you lose and reincarnate as a new character. The character is named the Sword of Ditto, so the story is of the Swords of Ditto, who are all the player characters. And the player characters are so adorable. Like, they're randomly generated, and like you pick one of like a dozen races and like hairstyles and outfits,
Yeah.
and then when you get the sword, you get like a superhero costume that's also randomly generated, and
Yeah.
it's really like so well done in some ways.
Yeah.
The other thing that really holds it back, number 3, and this might be the biggest thing. I mean, number 1 was pretty big. Number 2 was like a nitpick. Like you can deal with that.
Yeah.
Number 3 is they gate things based on your experience level, which means it's actually a little grindy, and that's not fun at all.
Not in a
especially in a roguelike.
Yeah.
Especially in a roguelike that's time constrained. Like the plot is you have 4 days to do X, and at day 4, X happens whether you're ready or not.
Right.
But like to progress in your milestones towards that, it's like, well, you have to gain a level to go into the first dungeon, and you have to gain 2 levels to go in the second dungeon.
Right.
And it's just not very satisfying.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, it's cumulative across all of your characters, but I don't understand why. Because it's like essentially the same as getting reset to level 1 every time you play, which I think I would have preferred.
Yeah.
But instead I'm like, oh, okay, well, you died. Now your new character's level 37, and in order to get in the first dungeon, you need to be 38. And it's like, why are we doing this? I don't even understand. So, like, numbers
Boy,
are going
that
up,
is
but they don't
weird.
seem to affect the experience anyway.
Yeah, it's very strange. Boy, that's an odd decision. I can't. I mean, does the rest of the environment scale?
Everything scales with you. So, I mean, and I think it's slowly getting a little bit harder, which is unfortunate.
What?
Like, yeah, I don't know what what the
So
thinking
what's
was
the
there.
point in going up levels if it just makes the experience more
Because
difficult?
you need to get, because it was a gating mechanic, which there should just
But
not
like,
be
what?
gating.
Yeah, what's the point in the persistence of it? I suppose
That's
Like,
what I don't know.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
That's so
It makes no
strange.
sense to me.
Because usually levels are used as a means to identify progression, and at best, it sounds like a variant on a game timer. Like, you've played long enough to be level 39.
Yep, kind of.
Great.
Well, I mean, it's super annoying because, like, you'd be like, all right, I'm ready to go in this dungeon. Oh, man, I gotta kill, like, 20 more enemies. All right, I'll just hang around and kill enemies, and then I'll go into the dungeon. And that's not
it's...
not super rewarding.
I mean, so much of a roguelike is you feel like you achieve a certain amount of mastery and can pass through various segments at an expedited rate, and if you suddenly strip that out with a mandatory grind fest,
Right.
it diminishes some critical elements of the formula. It sounds like a very odd mishmash.
But it's still beautiful, so probably sometime, maybe even this Sunday, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
You can see what it's about. In fact, I might load up my current progress. I wonder if I can wipe my progress. I bet I can. I might load up my current progress and kill the character and just be like, this is what happens when you die, and this is how it proceeds from there. Anywho, that's that. Again, I still want to recommend it because it's such a gorgeous game.
Right.
Well,
Well, you are a graphics whore.
Yeah, I am more of a gameplay guy. The gameplay is mixed.
Right.
Mixed enough to not super recommend it.
Right.
And since then, I haven't played anything.
Yeah.
I did hear, we mentioned briefly, that the third Slay the Spire class has not been released.
Okay.
I was mistaken about
Okay.
that.
But
it's
coming.
available in beta, and it will probably be released at the end of the month. I don't know if I'm going to go back to that. I kind of want to do something else for a while. Like, I really burnt myself out the last time I
you played the
but,
bejesus out of it.
so I might actually be getting to Ni no Kuni soon, or God of War or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll pick something medium or long because I haven't done anything like that in a while.
Yeah.
So I think that concludes the video game portion of our talk. We need to talk movies this week.
Oh, interesting. Did I have anything else game related? I did have one thing game
Oh,
related.
pardon
to
me.
touch
We're
on.
not
Yeah,
ready for
yeah.
movies yet. We should talk games.
Well, I just
Video games.
I was reminded that there's an upcoming game, State of Decay 2. And quite a while ago, I talked briefly about State of Decay 1, which I think I actually did on stream. And it was super rough around the edges. It followed this very, very fundamental sort of game genre that's all over the place now, which is like the zombie survival genre, I guess. It's like you're a survivor, you have limited supplies. We've seen a lot of games do this. But State of Decay was pretty exceptional, despite some flaws, because it had you not garnering, I don't know why I use that word, that's not the right word. You had a group of survivors, and every time you went back to your base camp, you could switch to a different survivor. And this was useful because they had different strengths and weaknesses, and because some of your survivors would get tired over time. You'd need food and so forth, so you'd have to have, if you just play as one character forever, they start getting tired out and weak, and so you'd go back to base camp and switch to somebody else. But it added this additional layer where, depending on who you were out with, the other characters back at base camp would have political interactions with each other. Some of them didn't like each other. So you were kind of juggling this weird sort of social aspect of making sure that your community was happy. And then the icing on the cake was, I remember this first time I encountered a new enemy type that was kind of zippy and aggressive, and I just wasn't ready, and it very violently consumed part of my character, and that was it. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. I like that character. I'm gonna load back up and try that encounter differently, and I couldn't. And that's when I realized the game had true permadeath for every character. So after 15 hours of play, the character that I lost, I couldn't ever get back. It insta-saved and overwrote my previous scenario. And so in a sense, it's kind of a roguelike, because every character you could level up over time could be killed. And then you were forced to use your remaining characters. So there's like this weird blend of like, the characters in your base are your lives, but there also is this like roguelite aspect of your camp continues.
I'm going to advise you to be careful because permadeath is not necessarily.
It's not quite the same. I know it's not quite the same, but there's an element of it. Like, you lost permanent progress with a particular character. You retained some progress in a rogue-light sense with your camp. Thank you, dear. But it was really interesting and really weird and really novel. And I decided that since I wasn't aware of that, I'd been behaving a certain way. So I started a new game, resetting my 15 hours of progress, and continued to play...
What are you, me?
I know, right? And I played to the game's conclusion. I forget how many hours it was. It might have been I want to say it was at least a 40-hour experience. It could have been even 60 hours. It was a really long time investment. I didn't lose anybody. It was really stressful. And there were a couple moments, and I'm not going to regale them now because we do have to get the cards eventually, but
Yeah, we got several more topics to discuss.
Several more topics, but like, I had one experience in that game that is like etched into my brain. It was like a 15-minute sequence where like gradually I attracted more and more zombies and then had to ditch my food supplies and was like panicked and running back to my base, and they chased me into my base and my whole base was fighting off. It was just amazing. All that having been said, State of Decay 2 is coming. I'm really excited to see what they add to the formula, or if it's just a more polished version of the original, but it does have co-op, which the first game didn't have. It's a co-op, open-world, survival, horror, permadeath experience. And it just sounds amazing. So I'm super excited for that, and I saw some footage for that earlier this week, and was totally caught off guard by it. It was announced, I think, at last year's E3, but the first version of that was just provided some very unique experiences in gaming. And as a result of that, I'm super excited for the second one. So that was the other thing I wanted to bring up. Is there something I'm excited for that's in the future that I'm aware of? That's right.
Cool. So, not to worry, we are gonna talk about Avengers: Infinity War, but
no spoilers.
Not spoilery.
Yep. I have not seen.
Kyle also has
Infinity
not
War,
seen it.
yeah.
Rachel has not seen it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't stream spoilers for Avengers:
Yeah,
Infinity War.
yeah.
Come on.
What
that's
are we, the
goofy.
internet?
I just want to talk about. I did see it. I saw it with my office.
Yep.
I'm going to reiterate a couple of things I told both of you individually, which are hopefully mostly non-spoilery or non-spoilery enough.
Mm-hmm.
In that, there's probably three major things I want to say, and one is my initial impression was I was all mixed about it, but after spending some time thinking about it, I think I really enjoyed it. I think it was really good. It was better than I expected at first.
Mm-hmm.
I was not very excited for it, and when I saw it, I felt like it was super. I felt like it was super important. I felt like they did a good job telling a big story, but I didn't feel like I had a lot of fun on the way.
Right.
But then reflecting on what I did see, I've come to like it more and more in the intervening time.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is I legitimately had the thought while watching the movie, boy, wouldn't it be crazy if they ended it here, and then they ended it there.
Huh.
And that was noteworthy for two reasons. The first being that it's an extraordinarily bold and unexpected narrative decision for the movie. And the second is that I hadn't realized 2 hours and 20 minutes had gone by.
Right.
And I think both of those are pretty high praise for the movie.
Well.
And of course,
high praise.
the final thing we need to discuss is how ridiculous it's performing at the box office, which
Right.
I've been obsessively paying attention to this week for reasons I can't really explain, but I'm having fun with it.
Yeah.
Of course, it topped $900 million yesterday. It's eighth
Worldwide.
day, or that's its seventh day in theaters. Today is its eighth day in theaters. People are speculating that it will top $1 billion either today or tomorrow.
That's madness. Worldwide box, even that's pretty nuts.
It has made more money than any of the DC movies individually, including the wildly successful Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's just like shattering records after records. It's insane. It's ludicrous. It's in the top 50 movies of all time already.
One weekend. Yeah.
And which I enjoy because it means you can watch it go up on Wikipedia every day. Because they just check the top 50.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
good for them.
I'm definitely really excited to see it. Rachel and I this past week did in fact see Black Panther.
Awesome. I'm glad you got to see it. Also a good movie.
I'll steer clear of spoilers on the stream about that as well. But I will say, we both enjoyed it. You liked it, right, dear?
Mm-hmm.
She liked it. And I felt like
I appreciated the shout-outs to Oakland because that is where I grew up.
there you go. Some hometown pride there.
Yep.
It tackled, I guess I could say, political issues with a fair amount of tact, where it used certain political hot-button topics, I suppose, contemporary political topics, but did so in a way that wasn't inherently preachy. They simply used them as fuel for the fires in the movie. I really I really enjoyed that, because I think, when you integrate politics in film, there's a fine line you got to walk, because if you get overly preachy and your film becomes too timely and it loses the ability to be timeless, but it tackles some universal themes. Sorry, dear. And I thought it did some really interesting things. I generally enjoyed it. It did have a different feel than a lot of the other Marvel films, because of some of the, I guess, the nature of the politics and the nature of the relationship between the good guys and the bad guys. And I really was impressed by Michael B. Jordan. I thought he did a great job. He did a real standout job. So, yeah, entertaining film. Looking forward to Infinity War, as I have been for about 30 years.
Were you looking for an adaptation of that storyline in particular?
Truthfully, probably. I mean, it's one of those things that, as a kid...
Infinity War, the storyline in the comics is so dumb, though.
Well, it doesn't matter that it's dumb, right? Like, at the end of the day, Infinity War
is... It's a kid mashing a bunch of toys together.
You've just proven my point, like, to be clear. Like, the concept of a series of antagonists so extreme that every hero you've ever had has to work together in terms of comic book lore to face them off. It's thrilling in a way that appeals to the inner child. And certainly... there's something absurd and extreme about the mashup, just by its very nature, because you're combining characters that weren't necessarily conceived of to coexist quite in this way with a similar antagonist, but to throw them all together in one. So yeah, I mean, as a kid, spectacle and just the grandiose, you would barely conceive that such a thing would ever see live action in any compelling manner. And so to be in an era where we have these effects, you actually did compliment the special effects in Infinity War.
I did, yes, they were very good.
Which is...
there was maybe one time that I was like, oh yeah, that's CG, and like everything else just felt so grounded. And it was funny because Kyle and I had just recently watched Justice League,
yeah.
And it was such a stark contrast. Like, Justice League really felt like
super
the Star Wars
flimsy,
prequels in the way it was like, wow, clearly nobody is anywhere. Like, literally everything in this movie is superimposed on these characters.
Right. It was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, we haven't talked movies in a while. So let's wrap that topic up. I'm going to try to be extraordinarily brief, but still talk about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
And that never works, but we'll see how it goes.
Give it a go.
Like, we should be playing cards already. We are late to playing cards.
People come for our endearing personalities.
Yeah. So...
And whatever that was.
I have been invited to play... Or I think I mentioned, I don't recall if I did, but I think I mentioned that Bill Schmidt, our designer friend, who also is in the D&D campaign I'm in, wants to try his hand at GMing, and wants to do so with the group that I'm in, and he wants to do it by running some one-shots, and the first one-shot he wants to do is in a few weeks. And I felt very mixed because I've had some bad experiences lately, and I wasn't very motivated even to play in the game that I'm currently in. So it was even more difficult to get motivated to play in a new game. And I have been working. I've worked through some of my
Trauma.
fair enough trauma over that, and I don't feel like I'm like super pissed anymore about what happened, but I am still kind of low on the motivation spectrum.
Right.
So I was trying to work through that this week, and I was looking for some kind of trying to come up with a character concept that would excite me to play
In a one shot.
in the one shot. And the caveats for that is the group I'm in is not very. They don't engage much in the fluff parts of the role-playing experience, which is too bad because those are
Right.
the parts I like.
Right.
They're very mechanical and they're very by the book.
Some would argue that is the fluff, the mechanical.
Yeah, that's neither here nor there. And an experienced GM usually falls into that category. Now, I'm making some broad assumptions about Bill and how he will play his game, but I'm expecting it to be very mechanical and sort of combat focused.
Sure.
And some stereotypes, maybe unfair stereotypes, but they are stereotypes.
Sure.
So I went through the book and I tried to find something in 5th edition that would excite me from a mechanics standpoint, and I think it just isn't there. I think that I'm going to pull a complete 180 on 5th edition and say it's kind of really dull. There's nothing very strongly distinguishes character classes anymore, and there's no skills. So, like, literally every fighter plays like every other fighter. And literally every fighter plays a lot like the casters because they just like really sort of evened out the skills and how they work across all the classes, and everything feels super samey.
That's strange.
So the conclusion is, I think I'm just not going to play in Bill's game. I can't get excited for it.
Yeah.
And that would be in a couple of weeks, and I told him I would tell him this weekend what kind of character I want to play, and I think what I'm going to tell him is
No character.
I don't want to play a character.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because I want to be supportive of him, getting into the running the game elements, but I just
5th
don't think
edition
I
is
can
just
do
not inspiring.
it. Yeah.
Well, and especially in a one-shot, it does limit... I mean, I feel like it's tougher to tell a cohesive one-shot story than a multi-part story, because you just are limited in what you can develop. But even in the GM and player relationship, there's less building that you can do. When you take these little incremental steps with a multi-part campaign, you just get to build something at a high fidelity. When you're looking at a very short session, you have to hit broad strokes, and you don't have a chance to fill in all those details in a meaningful way. I mean, you think about how legendary character Tombo had, how you continued to refine the character, and write areas in the backstory and the lore and so forth from campaign event to campaign event. You lose that. You need to do much more in the way of planning to have a character with that magnitude of depth and meaning. So the shorter campaigns, because they lack that. I mean, I actually think they lend themselves more towards the systemic combat-oriented structure.
Well, yeah, and that's what
nature.
I was expecting.
Yeah.
Like that was part of. I may not have said that explicitly, but that was
Maybe.
the other reason I was expecting that sort of experience.
Yeah, the second reason.
But again, like I don't think the mechanics are really strong. Like I don't feel like it doesn't help that we have so many players. Like I think we started with too many players.
What is the number? Of players?
We have 5 players, and the GM also blessed us with 2 NPCs that are really treated as players, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, that's weird.
So in the player's handbook, I think there are 10 classes.
Yeah.
Which means, no, I guess it's 11. 11 classes, which means we've experienced most of them.
Right.
And as I said,
they're not all very different.
Class A and another version of Class A is almost exactly identical.
That's so strange.
So when you get to the follow-up game, like, there doesn't seem to be any way to make something interesting or distinct. And
You're right.
That's really what's turning me off from the system.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's an odd series of shortcomings.
Well, I mean, I still like role-playing, and I still would consider role-playing with this group. I just think that 5th edition is not the way to go.
Right. Well, just out of sheer morbid curiosity, have you ever considered running a campaign?
I hate it. I really don't want to. For the same reason that...
yes.
Or for... The reason is because of the same things I do when I create a character. I over-prepare.
Right.
And over-preparing for a character is something I can manage in my free time.
over-preparing
And over-preparing for a world is not.
Well, I will say I empathize with that because, as I think I've notoriously commented on, the this one's an S. The campaign, the one campaign that I ran was in a world of my creation, in a system of my creation, with an entire rule set, spell tree, lore, everything.
Well, that was stupid. You shouldn't have done that.
Well, but my point is, if anyone can empathize with over preparation, and I would take like 6 hours to prepare for a 3-hour sit down session, or more for every single session. So I empathize. It's part of the reason I haven't ever really given it another full spin is because I feel really strongly compelled to not shortchange any aspect of anything. And my version of shortchanging is spending far too much time to do anything.
Oh, we didn't get any comments from Chris or Casey. I don't even know if Casey's here.
Well, they were hotzing.
I think you... I had cut my deck as part of the shuffle before I handed it to you, and it was
right
kind
back.
of askew.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, you did. You did
cut it right
pull
back.
it exactly where I had.
This
got
is
it,
this
put
is
it-
a
put it
sign
up.
of how much I trust you, Ian. Maximum trust.
Alrighty. It was just amusing. That's the only reason I called it out. Alright, I will kick us off with a roll tonight. I will play the outer die. And I have won.
You did. You did wins.
Let's see. I think. This can probably do either. I should maybe do
Anyone but that one.
4 evens.
You're very specific with 4.
No reason.
I am not going to mulligan.
That's a hilarious opening hand that I must mulligan.
Right. You went 4.
I did go 4.
All right. Well, it gives me a good 3-turn head start since I'm taking 1, 2, and 3.
Wait, is that what that means?
I have. I do have a 1-drop. It's the Ngarai. They can be discarded from my hand to do stuff. Otherwise, leave that resource. I'm going to do this resource because I'm not a dumbass. Otherwise, they're just a 1/1 with flight.
Well, I'm not recruiting a 1-drop, so I suppose I'll be taking 1.
Well, I'm going to flip up Dark Designs. To play exhaust an Underworld character you control, draw 2 cards, and then discard a card. Didn't anticipate that. I don't know how to discard. That's really awkward. Well, jeez. Can't be that. It can't be that. It's got to be that. I need to put a new sleeve on that card because that sleeve is messed up. That sleeve is so bad that while you're thinking about what you're going to do, I'm going to put a new sleeve on it.
I'm going to be recruiting Sasha Bordeaux. While Sasha Bordeaux gets +1/+1 while equipped. Team attackers I control get +1 attack. I will also be equipping the 10 rings to Sasha Bordeaux. The 10 rings says a deck can have up to 10 cards named the 10 rings. Equipped character can be equipped with any number of the 10 rings. Equipped character gets +1/+1.
I want you to know that the sleeve I just put on this doesn't match the sleeves in the rest of the deck, and I'm pissed about it. I am going to...
I know that now. I accept.
Flip up Dark Designs and exhaust an Underworld character I control. Draw 2 cards and then discard a card. What?
You having problems over there, buddy?
Yeah, this is a pretty something. It's pretty something. That is pretty something. Oh no. I need to very carefully read this card here. Right. I'm gonna discard that. That's it.
No 2-drop?
No.
Much as I'd love to punish you for that, I'm actually going to exhaust Sasha Bordeaux to play Tech Upgrade. As an additional cost to play Tech Upgrade, exhaust a character control, search your deck for an equipment card, reveal it, and put it into your hand.
So,
and
10
shuffle
rings is
your
1/1.
deck. Yep.
1/1.
I'm going to go get... I think I'm going to get another 10 rings.
Sure. Sure, why not? Yeah. No, I've never had this deck do this. This is strange. I will explain later because it actually merits an explanation, but it's doing a really, really weird thing. It's not a good thing either, but it's also weird. It's not just like bad, it's sort of novel. We'll see. Could still be okay. Alrighty. Right, this is where it gets shady. So I've got Umar. When Umar enters a KO'd pile from play, discard your hand. Activate, reveal an Underworld character card from your hand. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put one into your hand and the other into your KO'd pile.
I'll be recruiting Barbara Gordon. Barbara Gordon has the power, free draw a card, use only once per turn. I'll be recruiting 2 more of the 10 rings for a total of 30 on Sasha Bordeaux.
It's going to be tough.
And I will free draw a card.
It's a good choice. Right. Well, that's cool and all. I'm going to reveal a Dormammu. Look at the top 2 cards of my deck, which include this card and this card. One of them goes into my hand, and the other in my KO pile. Then I will pass.
I guess I'll attack Umar.
Yeah, it's not a bad choice.
My attack is 7.
Yeah, I'm going to take 4.
And activate Barbara Gordon to play Invasion Plans, which is
classic.
play during your attack step to play exhaust a character control, draw 2 cards.
Cool.
I have drawn my 2 cards.
Cool. Cool.
Doing anything with your
No.
The Ingarai?
Gonna pass. Yeah. That's a card. Got the dude.
The Punisher can be equipped with 2 equipment. While the Punisher is equipped with more than 1 equipment, whenever he stuns a character, KO that character. When you flip Dr. Fate's tower face up, you may discard a card. If you do, search your deck for a Fate artifact card, reveal it and put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck.
Got your full setup. Could be the first W for this deck. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Actually, the irony is I don't want the helm.
That is ironic.
I want the cape.
Even more ironic.
Don't you think?
Whenever he's equipped with one more. Yeah, I hear you there. Stuns a character. Okay, that character.
So I got me a Cloak of Naboo that is going on Le Punisher.
Le Punisher.
I will then read the rest of Dr. Fate's Tower, which is backup, activate, transfer all equipment on a character you control to another character you control. Use this power only during the build phase.
Yep.
I should read the Cape of Naboo. Or the
You
Cloak
should.
of Naboo.
You should.
The Cloak of Naboo says, equipped character can be equipped with any number of Fate artifacts. Equipped character gets +1 defense and cannot be the target of effects my opponent controls.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's real clever and all.
I will finally flip up Wayne Enterprises because I can do it now. Flip Wayne Enterprises only if you control a Gotham Knights character. At the start of your formation step, you may transfer target equipment you control to an unequipped character you control as an activated power that I am unable to use.
Is there any other anything else that it does? Just transfer equipment to flip it?
Yeah,
Or-
I can give a Gotham Knights character +1/+1 who's equipped.
So it's not super useful right now.
Nope.
Doesn't do anything right now. Just flipping it for good measure.
Well, I must control a Gotham Knights character.
I see. You're flipping it. All
So,
right.
lest I...
Fair
if
enough.
anything should happen to Oracle, I want it up because I'll forget to do it later.
So I'm going to flip the Dark Dimension. When you flip the Dark Dimension, put the top 3 cards of your deck into your KO'd pile. 1, a 2, and a 3.
Hey, you got your 4-drop. Oh no, your 4-drop's obnoxious.
Yeah, I don't think he can. Can't do what I want, but he is obnoxious. When you flip the Dark Dimension, put the top 3 cards of your deck in your KO pile. You may return an Underworld character card from your KO'd pile to your hand. Still might be the right choice to get that 4-drop. He's good. Good.
He is good. I do not like him. I do not like him on a boat. I do not like him with a goat.
Or in a moat. It'll be Blackheart. We'll recruit him. He has loyalty reveal. He is concealed. I can activate him and put 3 character cards from my KO pile on the bottom of my deck to KO target character with a cost of 3 or less. Use only during the build phase. I do have 3 characters. Yeah, there you go, there you go.
I knew it.
You knew it. You called it. I am formed.
Alrighty. I'm just going to attack Umar.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
It is Umar. I'm going to activate her and reveal the Dread Dormammu to look at the top 2 cards of my deck, which include this card and this card.
Kyla's making terrible faces. Not at me, at those cards.
Oh, deck. So that happens. What's your attack?
10.
That's a lot of attack.
Yeah.
So some things happen in sequence, and we'll review them. The first thing that happens is you're going to deal 4 breakthrough and 3 for the stun. This is the first part of what happens, and this order does, of course, matter. That is a 7 damage, 4 breakthrough, 3 for the stun. Puts me at 39. The next thing that happens is the effect of your KO goes on the chain. I will flip the Mausoleum and activate to put the top card of my deck into the KO'd pile to prevent target stunned Underworld character I control from being recovered or KO'd this turn. To block that awful thing from happening. And then I'm going to KO your 3-drop.
That's a backup power you read earlier.
It is not. I can only do it during the combat phase, in fact.
You said build phase earlier. I think you did.
I don't know. It is combat phase only. I apologize if I misspoke.
Sure. No, that's fine. Goodbye, Barbara.
Ba, ba, ba. I'll leave my characters separate, as it is often advised to do in this deck. I have one
You can
character.
only use characters for his power?
Correct. So I can't use it again, unless I build up a lot more characters.
Well, are you going to attack with the Engaray?
No, I'm not.
Then Sasha's going to hit you for 3.
Yeah. No. This is a strange draw. Oh my god. I have not encountered this situation before. What? I can't wah enough right now. I did a lot of things to build up to one moment, and I can't do it for a reason that never happens. It's very strange. That is one big punisher. He's at 10-9?
He's a 10-11.
10-11. It's big.
He is a big.
Well, I guess it's my initiative, so we're gonna do... That's funny. Scenario here that I'm ecstatic about. I guess we're just gonna do... and then I'm going to recruit in my concealed area Satana. Satana is an 8/10 who gets +2 attack for each card named Satana in my KO'd pile, which is currently 1. So she is at 10/10.
I hope you don't have the KO card, or a KO card. Seems like you might. I'm going to recruit the 10 rings onto the Punisher. And then I'm going to recruit Nighthawk. Nighthawk's power is a leader. Characters adjacent to Nighthawk can attack hidden characters, and equipped characters adjacent to Nighthawk get +1/+1.
Yeah. Right. How big is Punisher? 10-11 did we say?
While
Now
adjacent to Nighthawk,
bigger.
he is a 12/13.
Yeah, that's cool. Sure do need something I don't yet have. I wonder if I can do it with that. Maybe.
I didn't play a resource. Pardon me.
Maybe.
I must play a resource. The resource I must play, ironically, is that.
Maybe. Though in Nighthawk's current position, Nighthawk cannot attack.
Alright. How about now?
Now Nighthawk is attackable.
Yeah. That makes more sense.
What is your preference? You can select.
That's my preference.
That is your preference, okay.
If you don't mind.
I do not. Though now I have to think about if I want to attack Nighthawk. It's not off the table. Sure wish this hand were slightly different. Yeah. That's stupid. Maybe I have to do that. That'd be hilarious. Seems not relevant, but it's relevant, maybe. I'm going to play Death's Embrace. To play, discard a card.
Oh, you have a lot of cards in your hand.
I sure do. I sure do. I am going to discard Black Rose. Search your deck for up to 2 Underworld character cards that share a name. Reveal those cards. Put one into your KO'd pile. It's probably that one. But I'm not 100% sure. Nope, it's that one. It's that one. I hope I have 2 of that card. I might not. Please have another one of that card. Have another one of that. I don't have another one of the card. Yes, I have another one of the card. Okay, it's Paramadeline Friars.
6 drop, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine.
I had assumed you were going for Satanas.
You'd think that. This is a weird draw. It's real weird. Weird. It's weird that I had to do that now. Okay, that was step 1. Now, I have to do the other thing. And the other thing is really, really a difficult choice. Because if I go for Nighthawk, I'm going to take a lot of damage from Punisher. But it won't KO anything. And that might be the correct choice, which is pretty nonsensical. It's pretty crazy.
Where's your Umar?
I don't know where oh, I picked her up by accident. that was very strange. That was really strange.
Like something's missing.
Good call. No wonder my hand's so big. I keep picking Umar up and adding her. I think I set my hand down on top of her. That was a mistake. I shouldn't do that when she's stunned. It makes things confusing. So if I do that, I mean, it's cool.
I guess.
It's got to be that somehow. I'm going to team attack Nighthawk, and that's stupid.
For 9?
For 9. It's fine. That's got you beat. Don't be stressing.
What are the odds you're going to KO him? You have so many cards.
I have a lot of cards. I'm going for Nighthawk, not Punisher. What are you worried about?
What do I want to do next turn?
Nothing. You want to pass next turn.
You do make a good
I make a
point.
great point. I'm already planning ahead.
I'm going to accept it.
I assume you deal the damage to Blackheart.
Please. You hit me once with the Engarai, right?
Is that the first damage I've dealt you?
Second.
What was the first?
I nudged my dice. You hit me on turn 1. With
No.
No. Then I'm at 45, I think. I think that is the first damage you dealt me then.
Cool.
I only hit you once, right? Twice?
You've hit me a couple of times. At least twice.
Well, I gotta hit you.
Yeah. 10?
It's 11.
It's 11. Does this thing give attack also?
Nope.
Or you have a location that gives you attack?
I have 4 of the 10 rings. And 7
Oh,
attack.
math.
Which is 11.
Yeah, 21. Not psyched about it.
This will hurt. You get to hit me pretty hard here.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. It's true. That is true. Trying to decide if I try to take a swing at Punisher.
And then you don't have KO. And you will be KO'd.
Maybe. So you claim.
Or you might have KO that you don't need a ready character for, which is unusual, actually. It's funny that I assume you don't have KO because you wouldn't have a ready character.
That's true. That's true. So I can take a real big swing.
You don't have Punisher with what's on the board. But you're close.
Yep. What the hell are you doing?
You're not safe from Punisher with what's on the board.
Yeah.
You need to save a character in your KO'd pile to save Umar. Is that right?
The save marker is actually put the top card of my deck into my KO
Oh, it's
pile.
the opposite. Okay.
So that one is more of a battery card. I think I gotta try to hit Punisher. So I don't love it. I'm gonna attack Punisher, and I'm gonna play Midnight Massacre. Target Underworld attacker you control gets +3 attack. This attack, if that character is hidden, move it to your visible area, and it also gets +3 defense. This attack. So I am a 13.
That's sad. That's gonna work. I will take, my defense was 12, so I will
It's
take
only a point.
5. Do I lose someone? I mean,
I do not.
unnaturally?
I am not playing a KO at this moment.
Well, then I must lose Nighthawk.
Do you hit me for 3?
I can't.
Oh, that's right, because I have a visible character. Joke's on me, because I thought you were going to. Yep, so
You
can
do
lose.
was thought I was going to.
I'm going to put the top card of my deck to protect Umar.
Okay.
And of course I recover black card.
Initiative, huh?
Yep.
Oh, God. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Why would you do that?
Boy, I don't know. Plus, I do get to see what you do before I make a decision, because I got a pretty interesting choice coming.
Why would you do that? to reiterate.
I see what you're getting at.
Son of a... Well, at the risk of taking bunches of damage, but also possibly dealing bunches of damage, I will be recruiting Apex and Nighthawk.
Whoa. Interesting.
Apex's power is when Apex comes into play, I may search my deck for an equipment card, reveal it, and put it in my hand, and shuffle my deck. Now I will get a Helm of Naboo.
Oh, that's interesting. That does dictate what I'm going to have to do, which is annoying, but it is what it is.
Now I'm going to... There. Helm of Naboo says, equipped character can be equipped with any number of Fate artifacts and gets +1 attack, and gains the identity Dr. Fate. When the Helm of Naboo comes into play, draw a card for each Fate artifact you control, then discard a card for each card you drew this way. That is two cards.
While you're doing that, I'm going to flip another Dark Dimension and put the top
I need you
3
to cut
cards
first, and then you can do that.
of my deck in my card pile. Which includes a Satana. A Satana just got bigger. That was not foreseen. A Plot Twist.
These are my 2 cards.
And a Numar. And I may put one of those into my hand. I'm going to choose to not put one into my hand.
I will then activate Apex to play Tech Upgrade. Go get the Amulet of Naboo.
Board. Oh no. Oh god, do you just negate his power? Crap. Ugh. I worked so hard to get rid of Nighthawk. It is an ironic scenario.
The reason I was considering putting him back into play. Amulet of Naboo. Equipped character can be equipped with any number of Fate artifacts. The equipped character gets +1/+1 for each Fate artifact you control, and has flight and range.
Didn't you already have flight from the cloak?
He did not.
Interesting. Man. How unforeseen. The thing that I thought I had as a trick I don't think works. Now I'm not really sure what to do here.
I'm going to move.
Really bad
I
shape.
just let Punisher's equipment linger in the middle area here, because...
So how big is Punisher? He's +1/+1 for each of these.
He is +8/+8, and +1/+1 while adjacent to Nighthawk. Hawk?
9 is 16/16. Boy, that's crap. That sucks. I'm probably not dead this turn, but that was a real costly. Real costly. I have Dweller in Darkness. He's still my best choice. Dweller in Darkness is a 12/12. He's activate. Target attacker and opponent controls, and each defender you control get -1 attack this attack for each character card in your KO pile. But I can't target Punisher.
That's true. Oh, that's lucky.
Yeah, that was my best hope for stalling this turn. Now I don't have it. It's still the right play, and that's pretty bad.
I think I do have to attack him.
Yeah. Merp indeed. Yep. I mean, that's going to work. I'm going to reinforce. I take 6. Really needed to have that power be something I can do. I'm going to attack Nighthawk. I am attacking for... I should sort out the Satanas. I think I got 2.
She's +1 per.
+2 per.
Oof.
12.
Wow, that's really good.
That's cool power.
Ouch. Ow. Yeah, I will take 8.
Dealing a little damage back, but I'm sure in a world of hurt right now.
I will pass.
Yep. Not doing anything with Engarai. Oh, man. So wrecked. Come on. Something magical. Nope. Oh, I do put the top card of my deck, which would have been this, actually, to do it properly, to keep Umar from going away. Then I draw 2 cards, which is this one and whatever this is. Right. Lord. And of course. So bad. Been undone by a very strange draw. That makes me sad. So many cards. I'm going to recruit Madeline Pryor. She's Cosmic and concealed. Remove a Cosmic counter from Madeline Pryor. KO all stunned characters and move Madeline Pryor to your visible area. I am aware it is turn 7, but 6 drops what you get. Wish Punisher was smaller. That's what I wish.
I'm going to recruit Dr. Fate. Other characters I control get +1 attack for each equipment card equipped to Dr. Fate. Equipment I control in all zones has concealed optional. Going to back up, activate, and move the 10 rings to Dr. Fate.
Other characters you control.
I will also equip him with 2 more
Sweet mother.
10 rings.
He doesn't get the benefit of the +1 attack, or does it include him?
Other characters, he doesn't get the additional attack. That is true.
Ouchie. Youchie. I'll read this card. That's kind of smart. That's a big Dr. Fate. It's a really odd thing I should have done differently with my formation. Boy, not having a good run of it here. Punisher is 13.
His attack or his defense?
His attack.
His attack is more than 13. It is 4 plus 10 plus 11.
It is
His attack is 18.
18. How does he get up to 18?
He gets +4/+4 from the Naboo set, which he is wearing.
Okay.
He gets +1/+1 from Nighthawk.
You're up to 5.
And he gets 6 from the 6 equipment equipped to Dr. Fate.
Lord. Oh, so it's the equipment equipped to him give +1 attack to other characters. I thought it was his own, like he would get +3. I see. I mean, that doesn't make me feel better, but I understand.
His defense is only 12.
Yeah.
I thought you might enjoy that.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I got a team attack. Punisher.
Would you like to move the end ride to your
Oh,
front
nah,
row?
I'll just concede. Yeah. It's terrible. That's not a good game. For me, it was a very frustrating game.
Sorry.
So, like, I had the search for 2 cards, and then I drew into my Satanas, so I couldn't search for Satana because I had 2 in my hand, so that was kind of weird. So I was 1 Satana down. Usually you draw into 1 and maybe get another. And then early on, I was plot twist flooded, so I was dumping plot twists into my KO pile. And you want characters there, and I'm like, I had 1 character in my hand and like 6 plot twists, and then it's like, I'll use her to draw 2 more plot twists, and then I have to put a plot twist in here, and I had to do that a bunch. And it was just like, all the things that the deck is supposed to do, it didn't do, except for it had a big Satana, but that doesn't matter against a bigger Punisher. So I felt like there was nothing I could do the whole way, nothing I could have played different. Just watch Punisher play the Grown Man role. But your deck was effective, so it's got that. But
I missed a lot of my stuff too. I didn't get my equipment until 6.
this deck has only 1 KO in it, and it is Madeline Pryor, unfortunately.
It's a scary KO. You made me move my equipment off Punisher.
Yep. Though, to be fair, I have to confess, if you'd looked closely, you might have noticed I had no flight, except for Madeline Pryor. So I couldn't, like, you could have just moved Punisher to your back row and killed me in 1 attack. You didn't even need Dr. Fate.
I have to be able to threaten with him, because I don't know what you can do, right?
Sure, that's fair.
I need the most threatening attackers. Like, I wasn't afraid for him.
Right. But yeah, I passed the threshold, because for you to stop Punisher, you've got to do something before you get Dr. Fate, or you divide the power, and I'm just...
Well, I usually don't. Like, it's not my preference to divide the power.
Right.
Dividing the power makes Punisher vulnerable defensively.
Right.
I do that if it looks like I'm going to lose Punisher anyway.
Yeah.
And on 7, when you have initiative
Yep.
and several large characters,
Yep.
it's like, well, all right.
Yep. It might just be a bad matchup. I had like this deck in particular has a lot of really potent things that target your characters, and none of that could do anything. So I had this
Just the
massive
Punisher.
hand of cards.
Target all my other characters.
No, that's true. Could have targeted the hell out of Sacha Bardot.
Or Apex.
You don't want to target Apex.
I had my vulnerabilities on the table, and he never capitalized on them.
With what?
I don't know. Ninjas.
Couldn't fly, so I couldn't get to them. I always had to go through your big guys. So like it's weird. There's a lot of flight in this deck too, which was part of the weird part. And then I had to play the 4-drop I didn't really want. I really wanted the Nestir, which is a way better stat play. But
Someday this deck will win when you have a
lot of
draw.
things. Yeah,
What's
and
next?
like I said, my draw was not atrocious, but I couldn't do anything in that matchup. Left or right?
Yes, left.
This one is double A.
These guys out. Grumble.
Yeah. Yep.
How did my cards get turned around? This is not the deck that I want to play. You are them. Yay!
Yay. Now, this deck...
I was really worried when you KO'd Barbara Gordon, and I had just the one Fate artifact.
Oh, yeah.
Like, uh-oh.
Well, it was my one threat.
I got
had my
super
moment.
lucky. How did I draw? I drew 2 doing... Oh, I recruited Apex.
Right.
That got me the helm.
Right.
That let me draw this search.
Right. Yeah,
That was crazy.
It was tricky. I couldn't get enough. I just couldn't get ahead. I just didn't have it. Didn't have the getting ahead. And the earliest plot twist that I lost to the burning of plot twists, which again is not what you want, were the ones that were like my big turn 6 and 7 combo thing where I bring in extra characters. So I didn't even get to do that.
I mean, out or die. I lost. I want to go evens.
Yeah.
That's not what you shout when you roll the die, though.
No. Trying to decide if I want to go evens. I might. This one might be an evens deck. So I think I better do it. For your fun also.
Oh, I'm here, man.
I don't know if I would go that far, but yeah, this is more of an evens deck, so we'll do it.
Come on.
I
think these are recently sleeved and not very frequently played cards.
Yeah.
They're slipping and sliding all over.
So I'm gonna keep this, and we'll see what happens.
Maybe.
No, don't do that.
Maybe.
Kind of doing that a little bit. It's okay.
We'll call that a maybe. If I had to pick one word.
I'm gonna bet it's maybe. So I'm doing something illegal with this deck, and I'll tell you what it is after the game. You will understand. I'm going to recruit the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to ping you for 2. When S.H.I.E.L.D. agents enter play,
Is this a
target
new
player
deck?
loses 2 endurance. It is not. Just haven't seen it in a while.
Okay.
They're also a 0/2 with range.
I will not be recruiting a 1-drop.
Thank you for nothing.
I'll take nothing.
That's right. Darn 2.
This sure is a draw.
I don't know if I went first last turn, but I did go evens.
Yeah, you did, but that's okay.
Okay. We'll get it right now. I'm going to recruit Deadpool in honor of his upcoming film. At the start of the recovery phase, return Deadpool to his owner's hand if he didn't attack this turn. He's also big. He's got range.
I'm not going to recruit a 2-drop.
Then I'm going to team attack you for 4.
More than 4, right? Oh, no, it
Nope,
isn't.
it's exactly 4.
Like, Deadpool's 4 by himself.
Yeah,
That's gotta be...
yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm having some issues. This might be the opposite of last game.
I am sorry if that's the case.
Well, I'm going to boost the Emerald Empress. Whenever the Emerald Empress stuns a character an opponent controls, recover that character.
Something like a question.
This power triggers only once per turn. Boost 1 when Emerald Empress comes into play. You may search your deck for a card named Emerald Eye, put it in your front row, and shuffle your deck.
Yeah. My draw is okay, but it is also doing something a little silly, which is not a good thing. It's not like a going to ruin everything kind of thing, but it's not going to help, and it needs to stop doing it. Hey. Art thou formed?
Yep.
I have Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow. She says discard a character card. Target defender gets minus X defense this attack, where X is half its defense rounded up. Use only while attacking and only once per turn. And I guess I'll just form like this.
Deadpool is a 2/4.
And if I don't attack with him, it goes back to my hand. Get him, Deadpool. Did you happen to watch Celine Dion's latest music video?
I did.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. For anyone who hasn't seen it, you should watch it. It's pretty magical. I admit I didn't dislike the song, but the video was amazing. Get him, Deadpool. You're so concealed optional. You're putting a lot of thought into this opening attack. I'm intrigued.
Sorry.
It's alright.
My draw is very special.
I do understand. I gets it. I gets it. Man, I am beat. I thought it was much later than it was. It is not. It is the exact time it is.
It's usually how that works. Oh, man. Am I gonna... No.
No. Not that. Anything but that. I'm gonna need some chocolate.
Maybe.
Because I haven't had enough sugar in the past hour or two.
Alright. Fine.
Uh-huh.
Fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid.
I'm making you do it.
I'm going to play Legion of the Damned. Characters I control have flight this turn, and characters my opponents control get -1 defense while defending against a future foe's character this turn, and an additional -1 defense while defending against a future foe's character with greater cost this turn. Then the Emerald Empress is going to attack the S.H.I.E.L.D. officers. And I'm going to play Dominated, which I may do only if no defender became stunned while under opponent's control this turn. If target future foe's character would cause an amount of breakthrough this turn, instead, you may stun a character with defense less than or equal to that amount. I'm going to target Natasha Romanoff.
Okay. If the breakthrough should occur.
If I can deal 4 points of breakthrough with this attack versus your character with 0 defense.
It's clever. She does recover the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm not going to be able to get one of your characters in this circumstance. That's what you're after. Clever Ian. Clever Ian. Clean. Mr. Clean. I guess that's going to work. That's so much work. I'm going to allow it, but only because you played a bunch of plot twists. So I take 4, because that happens instead of the breakthrough.
Right. Your 1 drop does recover.
Does this character have the free recovery?
Mm-hmm.
Better attack.
Yep. I'll take 2.
I will also take 2.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So much work.
That was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
Boy. This draw, huh?
Alright, My draw's starting to shape up, which is good. But it might not need to, which is bad. Wow.
Go turn that heat down. That's gonna help.
All right. Quiet chair.
Heat is making me sleepy.
You figured out my master plan. Exhaust Ian with heat. The way that I will defeat him. I do have Sharon Cartar. She has discard a character card. This turn, she can attack anyone as though it were visible, unprotected, and it can't have reinforcement. I hope you got a drop.
I do not.
That's not what you want. I'll do something, and then maybe you'll concede. We'll see. Because you really need a character right now to continue to play this game.
Nope.
I'm going to flip up the S.H.I.E.L.D. Helicarrier. To flip, return up to 3 non-stunned characters you control with a combined cost of 3 or more to their owner's hands. S.H.I.E.L.D. characters I control have +2 attack and flight. It's fine?
Yep. Totally got this.
Got this. Sharon Carter is going to attack dude in the back for 10.
She doesn't have flight.
She has flight and +2 attack.
Oh, that gives flight.
And +2 attack.
No.
It's a helicarrier.
Yep. I see what you did there.
I'm laughing, but I'm really sorry you didn't get a 4-drop. I hope you got some good stuff coming up. For those wondering at home, Ian shrugged, melancholy. I wanted to say melancholy, but melancholy
Melanchalanousnyly. That's me all over.
You
One
know,
word that describes me. It's melanchalanousnyly.
Well, you know how sometimes you start to say a word only to discover halfway through that it's not? Because that just happened to me. And I tried to fix it as I was going through syllables. And then eventually I was up to like 6 or 7 syllables and just called it quits.
Yeah. So, yeah. I'm going to take 8.
Yep.
That's fine. Everything is fine. Then... this draw. Then I'm going to play... Busted Knee.
Oh, I see.
Target character gets -2 defense while defending this turn. Whenever that character recovers this turn, its controller loses 2 endurance.
Okay.
I'm going to attack. Sharon Carter? No.
Nope.
Natasha Romanoff.
Yeah. I'm thinking. So I take an additional +2 damage when I am recovered.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that'll work. So I take 3, and then another 2.
I take 1.
That will pass.
See? I'm getting the edge already.
Did save yourself some damage on that.
I've got Validus.
Validus.
Whenever Validus stuns on a character an opponent controls, recover that character. This power triggers only once per turn.
I'm going to recruit Doc Samson. Doc Samson, when he enters play, rally for a character card. If successful, he's better. But I didn't, so he's not. Form like this. Wait. Like this. Really, really big.
Really big.
I meant Doc Samson. I do wish that I had gotten the thing that I wanted that I didn't get. But I didn't.
Well, I'm going to first reveal mutual enemies. Ongoing, whenever a future foe's character I control causes breakthrough while attacking a defender with lesser cost, that defender cannot ready this turn.
Well, that's just downright rude.
There was no reason for me to reveal that, because I gotta do that stupid thing again.
As a reminder, I have 7 attack
Mom is 7 attack.
with Natasha Romanoff.
I'm gonna play Legion of the Damned again. Characters I control have flight. Characters you control are -1 defense and -1 defense when I'm attacking with a bigger character I control.
Okay.
I'm then going to attack Natasha Romanoff with a Validus.
And what happens when you what did that do again? Sorry.
That says if I cause breakthrough while attacking down the chain, you do not ready this turn. But it's moot because I'm going to play another Dominated. I'm going to attempt to stun Doc Samson this time.
Right. Because of course you would. Because of course you would.
Boy, oh boy. Oh, that was special.
I'm in a very special mood this evening.
Not in a good way.
Yeah, my defense is very tiny.
Yep. It's 2.
Well, your attack is very large. Very large attack.
Not relevant.
What's that?
It's not relevant.
Well, it is relevant to the extent that the breakthrough will potentially stun someone.
Yes.
It's quite relevant. Or it could prove to be, unless I do something. Can I do something? The question isn't whether or not I do something. It's whether or not I do some things.
Okay.
I'm gonna play Lay Down with Dogs. To play, discard a character card. And I will discard... I'm going to discard a S.H.I.E.L.D. Legends. Choose one. Target character you control has reinforcement, or target character loses and can't have reinforcement. I will choose to give reinforcement to Natasha Romanoff. It's probably good. Is that good?
That's it.
That's good. I still am stunned for 3 and recover. Sharon Carter is going to attack Emerald Empress.
That was
For 10.
10. I'll take it again. Everything's great. No
And,
complaints.
If you pass, Doc will attack Validus.
I will take 6 for that.
My attack is 13.
I will take 8 for that.
I do take 5. I am stunned back.
He does not recover.
He does not recover until...
Recover. You're such a dick. Like, seriously. Why? Why would you...
Your deck is having the lulls.
You're so mean. You're
Well,
so mean.
I'm gonna make you feel a little better because I'm gonna miss this drop.
Really?
Yeah. But I have some stuff to
I'm
play.
still probably
but-
gonna die.
I mean, that's a possibility. That's
It
true.
does make me feel a little better, but
So I'm going to recruit. Boy, that's real bad. I'm going to recruit a S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to ping you for 2.
even closer to death. Fantastic.
And Deadpool. That's it.
Well, I've got the Persuader. Whenever the Persuader stuns a character an opponent controls, recover it. This power triggers only once per turn.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. The S.H.I.E.L.D. agents
Jesus Christ.
and Natasha
Thank God.
Romanoff
Thank God.
are going to attack the Persuader. I'm going to discard a card to have your defense.
Okay.
My attack right now is 9.
So it is. So it is. I will deal the damage to, yeah, her.
I'll take 3.
Well, I can't prevent myself from losing.
Probably deal me a bunch of damage.
It's
That
not
deck can
very
do that.
much. I see at most like maybe 16.
I mean, that ain't terrible. Maybe it's terrible for that deck. For a normal deck, 16 damage isn't too bad.
Well, that puts the totals at 12 to like negative
Something.
10.
Yeah.
That's not a very close game.
That, I mean, me missing 6 definitely closed the gap, but you missing 4 let me get a pretty big board lead.
I'm going to play Busted Knee
Yeah.
on the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents.
Yeah. It's a good play.
I'm going to attack the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents.
Do not have additional reinforcement, so that's going to work.
So the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents can't ready this turn.
And they take,
I'm going to play the Fatal 500. Play the Fatal 500 only if a character causes breakthrough while under your control this turn. Search your deck for a future foe's character card, reveal it, and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. Do it twice more.
Alright, yep. So your attack was 12, my defense was 0, is that correct? You're making it as close as possible, I see. So I will take 13 damage plus 2 from the Busted Knee. Is that math to 15? Is that right?
Yep.
Those put me at 13.
I may have some powers up.
You may. May indeed. Well, given them's there's powers up, I guess I'm going to team attack with these two. Because it's not a sure thing otherwise. My total attack is 16.
power up 3 times for no reason.
Whoa!
Go for the 4 drop.
Down to 9. I only got my 1 attack left. If you've got a recovery over there, nothing I can do. But if you don't, attack for 13. Positive 9 to negative 9. Sorry, that was not a better match, though. You
So
do some things with that deck.
Insulting thing. No, this deck never works. This deck has not worked in 3 years.
Is that right?
Yep. The insulting thing that the deck did is I have a cool power, these 3 plot twists, all of these function on me dealing breakthrough. And
Right.
the only way I could stay in that game was by playing these cards that replaced my breakthrough with a different effect.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's not... We'll call that suboptimal. The thing that I did that made this deck illegal is I caught... Like, I wanted to play it. I hadn't played it in a while. I pulled out Bullseye last minute and haven't replaced him yet. I seem to remember Bullseye was sort of in bordering on the unreasonable tier. He's the one that says he's a 7/7. Activate him to stun target attacker cost less than the number of resources you control. And because of that, I thought it would be a better choice to play this deck with 58 cards. But in the future, I will search for a legitimate replacement.
He's a jerk.
And in the interest of fun play as opposed to rage-inducing play, I think he can probably be replaced.
They're a strong deck without him.
Yeah,
They're
it's
a
still
super
double-A.
strong deck with him.
He's a good card. He's a good card. He's tough because he's frustrating to play against, especially if you have anti-hidden. You can address him before much time goes by. If you get him on 4 or 5, he's okay. The problem
He's always a trade.
He's always a
worst,
little
and,
annoying,
Yeah, it's like
you know, but he is less than. So the way you get him is on turn 4 or 5. And admittedly, I don't have to lose him unless you KO him, right? But you can stun him by attacking him with your on-curve character if you have anti-hidden. And then I can't use his power. But most of our decks don't have a bunch of anti-hidden, and so he benefits from the fact that we don't have enough hidden to justify that in many decks. And he goes from being really good to being pretty horrifyingly awful in an unfun way. My last deck is an A deck, in case you were wondering.
I had guessed.
Alright, let's have a good game here. Let's have a real winner. This is the game that would be a real winner.
Says you. I'll be the judge. Not playing a very interesting deck. And you often complain when it comes out, which is kind of funny, because it's not a super good deck. But it's a make Kyle grumpy deck.
Cool. So we're heading for a
Yeah.
slam dunk.
Absolutely.
What you're saying is what I'm getting out of this.
Could have recruited the 2-drop on 2, but then I wouldn't have had the 1-drop also, and I think it was the right choice.
Yeah. I really thought you were going to concede when I flipped Helicarrier, but I guess you got enough burst in there, and I did end up missing 6.
I don't love it. I have to be pretty dire straits to concede.
Sure. Oh, I get the roll now.
I mean, like, for as much of a wash it seemed like
Sure.
the spread minus Helicarrier was what? Probably less than 10.
Like if I hadn't played Helicarrier?
Yeah.
If I hadn't played the Helicarrier, I mean, you were in the game. The Helicarrier is huge. I mean, it costs you some of your board position in the short term, but it's pretty
I mean, that's
powerful.
why I stayed in the game, is because
Right.
you were dominating from the board position.
But I gave some of that up for the Helicarrier.
Man.
We're going to call it Inner Die. Oh, Inner Die did win. Not before. I will go evens. Well, lot that I like right there. Gotta think about this one.
You went evens.
Yeah, I gotta think about.
Choosing whether you keep-
I think I'm gonna ditch that. I feel like that's a little thin, so we're gonna ditch it. Well, okay. Right. Boy, this is an odd start.
When Apex comes into play, I may search my deck for an equipment card or reveal it and put it into my hand. Throw it into Cal's front row. And return it to Apex equipped. That's an oddly specific card. The force field belt says it's transferable. Equipped character gets +1 defense and pay up to 2 resource points. Put a 1/1 counter on equipped character for each resource point you paid. Use this power only once per turn. See, you're grumpy already.
Part of my grumpiness is my draw so far, not your Apex. Though I'm a little grumpy about your Apex. I have Microchip, whom I can activate and remove him from the game to turn a face-up plot with cost 1 or less I control face down.
Apex is gonna attack Microchip.
I'm gonna take 1. Yeah. Right. I'm not going to play a 2-drop.
Me either.
So sad. I'll pass.
I'm going to attack Microchip.
Yeah, it's time to take 3. How do I do this? Yeah, I guess it's your initiative. That last turn, that last glorious moment was my initiative.
I'm going to recruit Haywire. If Haywire would cause breakthrough while attacking a character, instead, that character cannot ready this turn. I'm going to put the force field belt to Haywire.
Oh my god.
I'm going to put a counter on Haywire.
Boy, that's real bad for me. Real bad for me. I'm going to recruit Black Panther in honor of the recent successful Marvel film, Black Panther. When Black Panther comes into play, search your deck for an equipment card with cost 1 or less, equip to Black Panther, and shuffle your deck. He's concealed optional. I'll figure out what equipment I want, and we'll go from there. I think I know, but I'm not 100% sure. It's probably that. But it could be that. Boy, that's terrible. That's so terrible. Alright, it's gonna be... where the hell did it go? I just had the other one. It's gonna be titanium sword, and I don't know where it went.
That's the ping sword?
Yeah.
Such a weird thing. Why is it in there?
Perfect ping.
It's so weird.
Pings for 3. Whenever an equipped character stuns a character, the character's controller loses 3 endurance. Good night, Chris.
That was like 9 minutes ago.
It's 8 minutes. I don't know why you'd round up to 9. That's just weird. Who does that? What was that? Were that just sounds, or was there a word?
No words.
Okay.
Should have sent a poet.
I'm tired of instead of a beatboxer. Okay. Well, there you go. That's my duds.
I have initiative, huh?
Yeah. That's cool.
I think that I attack Black Panther with Haywire.
Pretty good choice. It's gonna work. Instead of breakthrough.
Instead of breakthrough.
So I take 3 and cannot ready this turn. You will take 5, but you will get to ready.
Quick kill.
No.
Pass.
Yeah.
I'll hit you with 3.
Still better to keep Black Panther, I think. Alright, it's my initiative. I guess that's something. I'm gonna recruit Lady Punisher. Lady Punisher is ranged. She's a 7/5. At the start of the recovery phase, I may KO target stunned character. Yeah. I'll attack Apex. Flip up Punisher's Armory, which I can activate to deal 1 extra damage. I can also pay 3 endurance to ready it.
We're stunned.
Mm-hmm.
Your attack was 8.
It was 8.
And defense is 6, so I'll take 3.
I'll take 4.
Attack Black Panther.
Yep. Oh, you are not stunned now. I don't like that. This only boosts attackers. Boy, that's real awful. Take,
No breakthrough.
I guess just the 3. Boy, that's miserable. was my initiative. Cool. Stuff and things and stuff and things.
Going to recruit Nighthawk.
That guy.
Characters adjacent to Nighthawk can attack hidden characters. Equip characters adjacent to Nighthawk get +1/+1.
Yep. I got Daredevil. Daredevil has loyalty. He's also got pay 3 endurance. Daredevil gets +2 attack and can attack as though he had flight this turn. I can, and then I must move him to my hidden area. I can only use that once per turn. Did I read that all properly, or was that a mess?
It sounded pretty reasonable.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure you can tell I have a weird assortment of the pieces of this deck.
I believes it. I believes it.
Play Other Earth only if you control a Squadron Supreme character. If you've played no other plot twists this turn, characters your opponents control lose and cannot gain reinforcement and get -2 defense while defending this turn.
Oh my.
You cannot play plot twists this turn.
So -2 defense while defending this turn, and what else?
Cannot lose and cannot gain reinforcement.
And you can't play more plot twists.
I cannot play plot twists.
Pretty legit card, though, that's for sure.
Activate. Target Squadron Supreme's character you control gets +3 attack while attacking this turn.
Oh my.
Whenever that character causes breakthrough this turn, it cannot ready this turn. It will be attacking Daredevil.
Wow, spiffy. Sure. My attack, or my defense is 8, and your attack is 8? Is
It's
that right?
11.
It's 11. Your attack is 11? +1 from Nighthawk. So you're, see that. And what did that one do?
+3, and I can't ready if I do breakthrough. But
That's a real good play. Yeah, I mean, that works. So, what all happens? I'm stunned.
can't ready. That's it.
I just can't ready.
No breakthrough.
Yeah. I'm gonna attack Nighthawk. I'm gonna play Headshot. Play only during your first attack this turn. Target Marvel Knight's attacker gets +X attack, where X is that character's cost.
That's a lot of attack.
It is 4, so my attack is 11, 12. Play 4. Another 5.
Yep. put the counters on him in the KO pile like that was important.
Yep.
Can't forget there was a big haywire.
Never forget. Oh, that's interesting. That's funny. That's kind of funny. Kind of funny. How do I do this? I sure don't have Daredevil.
He's right there.
Sure don't have a ready Daredevil.
Oh. No.
I also don't have much life. Not super psyched about that either. Got Nighthawk, who's just a jerk. You're probably going to even recruit somebody. That's Spidey. He's got loyalty. I can activate him and exhaust your team. If I feel like stalling.
Seems like a good thing to do
Depends what you do.
in this situation.
Depends, we'll see what you do.
I can force the issue if I
Can.
wanted to.
If you got the right cards for it, that's certainly the case.
Boy, there's some weird ironies of what's in my hand.
Yeah.
So if I put this into play, you
Mhm.
exhaust Spider-Man. And then
Probably.
exhaust my team. And then what? And then we go to next turn. And then what?
If your initiative. That ain't the worst.
Or
but I do have a ready Daredevil in that case.
I can put this into play.
It's true.
And you probably do exhaust Spider-Man? Maybe not. Makes it more questionable. Or I can put this into play.
Questionable guy. Questionable guy.
I think that's the right thing to do. It's so weird. I don't know what I'm really struggling to play the combination of cards that I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be recruiting Redstone. If Redstone would cause a breakthrough while attacking a character, instead, that character's controller loses 6 endurance. I'm going to put a counter on Apex, and then I'm going to move the force field belt to Redstone. And then
Right.
protect Apex, because that would be silly not to.
Redstone were smaller. That's what I wish. Just like up here on the wish list. I also wish I had a ready Daredevil. That would make this a very different turn. Man, stalling is so painful in this circumstance.
So bad.
I'm going to attack Nighthawk. We're going to start with that.
Okay.
that true? Let me think for a second. There's one argument for attacking redstone instead, even though that's awfully close. Let me think for just 1 second more here. It's so bad. Oh, but Nighthawk gives +1/+1 to equipped characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, alright. Back
How likely is this to work? $50-50?
Probably about that in this circumstance.
Is that lethal? It's close. Which means it's so bad. I should put my resource back into my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to exhaust Nighthawk. And I'm going to exhaust Apex. This could be a disastrous mistake.
It's real bad. I'm not ecstatic about this.
As an additional cost to play, Utopia Isle. Exhaust 2 Squadron Supreme characters you control.
What's he doing?
Whenever an attacker causes breakthrough while attacking a character, the attacker's controller loses 3 endurance.
Okay, so if nothing else transpires and I deal you breakthrough, that's something I was afraid of.
Target Squadron Supreme character you control gets +3 attack this turn. When that character causes breakthrough to a player this turn, that player gains 3 endurance.
Right. So then I have to do this. Which is funny, because you'll kill me if I don't do this, so I have to do it. Are you done doing stuff?
Maybe, sure.
I'm shocked you were going to do an additional thing. I was not prepared for it. So, you get to save that thing, because I got ahead of myself. I'm playing Swan Dive. Apply it only to your attack step. Only during your attack step. As an additional cost to play it, stun a character you control. Marvel Knights character. Stun any number of target characters your opponent controls if their combined cost is less than that of the Marvel Knights character you stunned this way.
Redstone?
It is redstone. And I'm at 13. You take 5.
Interesting. That did not go the way I wanted. Didn't go the
I
way
wish
I
you'd
wanted.
gotten you to play that other card.
I still can. Here, I'll play right now.
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
Play peace in our time only during the build phase. Oh, I can't even play it now.
I like that you didn't actually articulate what it did, because now it can still surprise me.
What are you doing?
I do empathize. I do indeed.
So, now that I did that thing,
You do now have the initiative.
what does it mean?
I ain't figured that out yet.
Gotta do that and that? That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Sounds stupid.
You're telling me. Alright. I'm going to recruit. I hate it. I'm going to recruit Amphibian. If Amphibian would cause a breakthrough while attacking a character, instead Amphibian cannot cause breakthrough this turn, and you may return a card from your KO'd pile to your hand.
Okay. And then?
That's it.
And Nighthawk says adjacent characters can attack hidden characters.
Correct.
That's annoying.
I have to attack Spider-Man anyway.
That's generally true. Though you don't have flight at the moment, so I could potentially protect Spider-Man.
I have lots of flight. I flight everywhere. Flight. You can't believe the amount of flight that's on this side of the table.
I recognize how little flight you had because it's what I had last game. I'm going to recruit a hidden character. It's Natasha Romanoff, by the way, one with low defense. Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow. She has Concealed. Also pay 1 endurance. Characters you control can attack hidden characters this turn. She also does have a boost of 1. Whenever a character an opponent controls becomes stunned this turn, you can't ready this turn. Now I try not to die. And it's going to be really difficult.
Play Other Earth only if you control a Squadron screen character. If you played no other plot twists this turn, characters your opponents control lose and cannot gain reinforcement and get -2 defense while defending this turn. Redstone will attack Daredevil.
I can't reinforce,
That's true.
so I immediately take 10. I get the counter stun.
It should be 11.
5 damage. Does he deal 6?
I think he deals 6.
Is it 6 or 5? Either way, let me know. Is it 6 instead of breakthrough?
6.
Jeez, so that's 11. And I don't get the counter stun unless I pay 3 life, in which case I'm dead. So I won't be doing that.
Oh, I should play this during the build phase, if you don't mind if I did. Play Peace in our time only during the build phase and only if you control a Squadron screen character ongoing at the start of the recovery phase. Each player who controls 1 or more character that caused a breakthrough this turn discards a card.
Joke's on you, I can discard a bunch of cards. I'm at 2. That is the number I am at. So that's cool. Sure wish I had defense on her. That's what I wish.
Well, you lose if I get a counter stun,
I know.
and you lose if you do breakthrough.
I lose if I do breakthrough. Did something ping me? Was that one?
Mhm.
The location.
Whenever an attacker causes breakthrough while attacking a character, that attacker's controller loses 3 endurance.
It's gonna be tough. Man, I couldn't even get the counter stun. I don't even get to use her cool power. It's like the only time I've ever used it. It's so bad. Let's fucking draw. Alright. Exhaust your team. Drag this out for one more miserable turn. I'm not out of it, but it's all stupid. It's all stupid. It's my initiative. That's cool. It's a Doctor Strangeo.
Oh, it's huge.
And I ban his boost. He's why
It's
I've got a
huge.
shot. Loyalty. At the start of the combat phase, you may move any number of characters you control to your hidden area. Boost 1, I get to do that to you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that could be bad.
He's stupid. I mean, he's an 8. His cool power is an 8 drop power.
He's stupid with Spider-Man because it means you can just hit me and I can't hit back.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever gotten both of them and him on 8. I don't recall this ever happening because I said he's stupid and then I'm like, but with Spider-Man, you just kind of hosed. And then you said it and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty obnoxious. But it's interesting that I don't think I've ever encountered this scenario before.
I have lost, and I literally can do nothing about it. That's lame.
That is pretty lame. I apologize because I didn't think of it until I recruited him. I was just trying to math out how much damage I could deal, but then I'm like, oh, the correct choice is to not attack with Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's pretty bad.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've never gotten that. All the times we've played this deck, and I've never gotten Doctor Strange on 8 with Spider-Man. Do I have enough? Doctor Strange. Do I take breakthrough?
40-point bomb swing? Man.
Well, it's an 8 drop craziness, I guess, but you're right. I mean, I was trying to math out the reverse. Do I take damage back for any breakthrough or just against the character?
Just against characters.
Which was true for all of the Squadron's powers. Yeesh. It's a good thing I picked evens.
Well, that was a terrible night of cards.
Yeah, it was not good. That was our weakest night in quite a while.
Oh, we had a pretty bad one 2 nights ago as well.
Did we? Well, 1 and 3 ain't the end of the world.
Oh, Chris fell over. He missed the last 20 minutes. That's okay.
Wasn't much to see, really. That game, in my first 6 cards, I had 6 characters, 2 copies of my 1-drop, and then 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I drew more of my 1-drop.
I should have played it more aggressively. I could have.
There were some opportunities.
The problem was I had all of the plot twists and locations and stuff that support the breakthrough characters and none of the breakthrough characters. So I made the choice around turn 5
Right.
to play the breakthrough characters even though I didn't really have them.
Right.
And then underdropped on 6 and 7 to support that play style. And I didn't need to. I didn't have a 7-drop, but I could have got my 6-drop out on 6 and hit you really hard.
I forget what the Spectrum? Do you have Dr.
No,
Spectrum?
I've got Hyperion.
Yeah, he just hits hard. He
Yeah.
hits like a truck. Does he strip reinforcement or something too?
He's weird. He kind of supports the breakthrough theme.
Yeah.
His power is characters adjacent to him can't be stunned while attacking a character with reinforcement. So he encourages you not to reinforce a little bit.
Right. That's interesting.
But he himself does breakthrough. So as soon as I flipped Utopia Isle, I was like, oh.
Right.
I thought I was going to get to finish you with the redstone attack, and almost did, but it wasn't enough.
It was close. You know, I will say this for that last game. While that last turn is a crazy swing, it was actually a close game, I think, in one sense, which is if you dealt me 2 more points of damage on any combination of the previous turns, it would have been your game. It just came with the fact that when we got to 8, and then I had the combo of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and Initiative, that's just a brutal scenario. That, again, oddly, I don't think we have ever had that happen before. Doesn't mean the threat of it wasn't there. Maybe you'd thought of it before, but I never thought of using those two in combo.
We don't get to Strange with that deck very often.
That's true. That is true. It's uncommon to get to Strange. I think it's uncommon to get to him on 8. A lot of times we get to 7, I don't have another card to play on 7, so it's still worth playing him and, you know, just getting the 7-drop on the board. But so that was a weird circumstance, but I do feel good about surviving through life on 7. But
no, you didn't. You were pissed about it. It was
well,
funny.
I was pissed. I feel good to the extent that
I enjoyed that I put you
close,
in a scenario
but
where you
yeah.
couldn't act.
Yeah.
Even though you had some serious
that's
firepower
true.
on the
That's
board.
true. I guess I was funny. You're right. I was mad about 2 things. I was mad about that, and I was also a little bit. I guess I wasn't mad, but it was unfortunate that you were in a similar circumstance where I was the previous game, where the lack of flight was starting to be a problem. So I was vicariously upset from your perspective, and then, yeah, I wanted to make it closer. Well, the funny thing is, if I was thinking ahead enough and realizing, this gives you a sense, like, I wasn't even thinking about Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, because my thought was, I need to close the gap as much as possible. Oh crap, I can't because it will kill me. And so I'm like, well, you're definitely going to get me next turn, or we're going to have a math fest. And it was literally not until Doctor Strange was on the board, and I set him down next to Spider-Man, and I'm like, oh, you do that, then that. That's pretty terrible. But I really wasn't thinking of it. That's the only reason, clearly the only reason I was even considering taking the risk of attacking with Natasha, where I'm thinking, I've got to do it to close the gap and hope you don't have another Eldritch +3 attack. But that, of course, would have been a stupid gamble had I thought I had one turn to that combo. The risk wouldn't have been worth it.
I would have won if I attacked Natasha. Natasha.
Good old Nasha. Nasha Rome.
But
is that right?
I guess you didn't have enough firepower. Yeah, she's 2 more than the character I attacked. That's all I needed.
Oh, yeah, that's
I guess I was wary of your firepower? I mean, you don't see the 40-point swing coming.
Sure. So, wait a minute. You went for... Oh, that's right. You went for Daredevil.
I went for Daredevil to avoid the counter
To
stun.
avoid the counter stun. Yep.
It would have been smarter to accept the counter stun and hit Natasha.
Yeah, you're right. You could have had me. I had no defense. Most of my resources were as characters. For some reason, I was just drawing characters. I mean, that's the KO deck. I didn't play a single KO card, which admittedly, it had a slump of that once before. But I don't think I drew one... It's weird. I drew a single KO card and could never use it because the one turn I had an opportunity to start shifting the board position back. That was the one that you used your 2-drop to attack my 5-drop and prevent him from readying the next turn. So I was down the character. I'm like, 6 is finally my opportunity. I attack with Spider-Man and I exhaust him to Daredevil to KO.
To be fair, he was a 4-drop at the time.
That's fair enough. So I was a little glum that I didn't get to play my 1 KO card at that juncture. But it was a weird game. I was super character heavy that game. Very odd. I think I only drew 4 character cards, and 2 of them were that same location. So it was basically like 3 non-character functional cards. It was pretty weak. But I
had another one of those obnoxious plot twists. I was going to play on my initiative. Would I have an initiative? Normally on 8 you get an initiative. But not when Doctor Strange is around.
That is true. And Spider-Man.
That's Spider-Man.
If you'd had an initiative, if I just attacked you, you would have had to deal me... I mean, your life swing was huge.
You only had a 10... You would have only had about a 10 life advantage. I would have got you back if I had my characters ready.
Yeah. It's only a question of, could you have finished me without taking enough counter stun damage? Because I would have used Strange to... You would have had hit through Strange.
Mm-hmm.
And that probably would have been a net gain of like 2 or 3. And then you get to swing at Spider-Man, potentially.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd have to pair up team attacks, but I could still get your dudes.
Yeah, and you probably get through.
I might get like a little
yeah.
swing through.
Yeah, might have been enough. I didn't have. I
was confident until
right.
that combo.
Yep. Well, it's an obnoxious combo. I'm not going to deny it. But.
Well, we should say goodnight to our audience.
Yeah. Well,
most of whom are not here. All of whom are not here. We are off next week.
Yep.
We will be back on
the following week.
Which I think is like 19-ish.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
Yep. Sure.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Well, let's see if we get... I forgot to mention. This is one thing I wanted to mention from the... from reviewing the videos.